a lot of unique projects. And if you want to talk about Libby's in general for just a minute,
sure,
because people are going to be seeing exactly what you guys did.
Yeah, man.
Although it looks kind of small, that project, it's unique and it's customized to fit our business, and that's really cool how you guys do that. So tell me a little bit about that.
Basically, we've done some work for you guys before with the gas pumps and stuff like that, and the coolers, and we really enjoyed it. And basically, when you reached back out to me and say, "Hey, we're going to do this drive-through, we want to involve you," it was really a good feeling. We like being part of the community. We like having a presence here, and people know what we do, and they ask us what we do, and it's a little hard to say that because we do a little bit of everything, more or less. And with the drive-through, I thought it was ingenious because now where it's cold and stuff coming up, you still give people the option to get your services without having to get outside the car. So that's always a plus. We love doing the awning and the shelf for that. It just gives another piece of us into the project. Like I told you earlier, I had people come in and say, "Hey man, that gas pump is great." And they're still talking about the thing like 2 years ago. With yours, with having the awning, we had to do the rough tin look to match what we'd done before in the past. And then we did the stainless steel shelf. All that was something that we kind of done for Liffey especially. And that's what we do. We specialize on what the customer wants or what your look is that you want. You give us kind of an idea. We shoot something back at you, say you love it, you hate it, and then we just work off of that. But we normally have to have something to start with. And you kind of give us the view on which way you want to go with it, and we kind of just made it happen. And it was really, to me, I'm excited about it because my family loves ice cream. And now it gives them the option to get it all year round. So that's always a positive in my opinion. You've adapted during the COVID time because now it's like, hey, you give another option another way. To me, I just think it's great entrepreneurship and figuring out, hey, how do we work through this? How do we social distance? How do we do this the correct way? And I think you've done that with the drive-through and stuff. And I think it's awesome.
Let's talk about some of the things that you offer here. Do people in the community really understand that you're more than just a metal shop? Because you do so many unique things. Tell me about that.
A little bit of what we do when we got our start back in the day. I mean, I was taking anything and everything just to try to help people out to get our name out there. And now we got an abundance of stuff. People say, "What do you specialize in?" It's so hard to say that because there's so many different variety things. Everything from commercial to residential to what do I have in my head I need to get out of it. We try to help you the best we can. Sometimes some people's head you can't help, but we do the most we can with what we got and try to pick their brain and come up with the alternative solution. Basically, we do the wheels on the front of motorcycles, things like that. Mm-hmm. We do machines that are customized for the customer specialty. What it is, whatever they make, we make it a reality. They say, "Here's what we need," and we say, "Okay, here's what we can do." Sometimes we even have to engineer it to come up with it. In order to get them what they're looking for. So it's a little bit of engineering, a little bit of fabricating, a little bit of trial and effort to see, hey, is this going to work or is it not?
Yeah. Can you say something like we do anything from a basic church handrail to industrial equipment?
Sure, everything from the bottom line. Just all depends on how we work it in. We always try to help the community out. We say, hey, if you could drop it off and let's work it in, we're more than welcome to help you out. And then we do the bigger jobs with the commercial clients with the cranes. We're taking equipment out, we're putting it in, cutting, grinding. We do that on site, and we also can come out to your house and do it. If you say, "Hey, Chris, I got a handrail I'd like for you to look at," we'll be glad to work it in there and try it out. If you give me some basic measurements, it's something we usually can work out, but we really like to come out and look at the job. That way we get the full feel for it, because when people want quotes, it's hard to do them over the phone. They're like, "Hey, what's this going to cost?" Yeah. You're not being rude, but at the same time, you don't know what you're getting into until you actually see it. So I tell people, they say, "Well, you think you can do it?" And I'm like, "Well, you got to lose. If we can't, you've lost nothing. Yeah. If we can, you've gained something, and you've got your part and everything you need." Sometimes it's a part that you can't find anywhere else in the world, and you need us to make it. That's what we do. That's kind of what, it's like, "Hey, I cannot get this anywhere. I've searched the internet. Can you help me?" Yeah. And it's usually something, if it's in our spectrum, we can usually make it happen or get relatively close to it in that way. So that's kind of where we're at with that. But we do everything from painting to sandblasting to building something from scratch to, I got a snake in here that a guy brought that the end broke out, and now he's got an apartment complex and he needs to get it running so his people ain't calling him. And that's just something small to do. Anything to keep our community running and going, that's what we do. Whether, hey, your insurance man wants you to have a handrail here, or a real estate agent wants you to sell your house, and you're like, you're missing a handrail, you're missing a stereo. We fix those things.
Do you consider yourself to be an artist of some sort?
I like the creativity. I mean, that's the one thing I really enjoy because it allows me to kind of get unique, and I like different things. That's the reason I like what we do, because you can't come here, I guarantee you won't come in tomorrow and you will not see the same thing, because it changes every single day. It's not a repetitious part. It's like, what is the part of the day? And that's where your brain's at. And you got to figure out, how do I make this and how do I go about that? And you got to have a starting point and an end point, to get there. And that's why we're so unique in what we do, because there's so many different things. And being able to have the artistic side, like with signs, with the pump, with some of the stuff where people say, hey man, just go loose. I mean, I just thoroughly enjoy it, and I like it being balanced. I like being able to come back later and say, tell my kid I did that. Or it's like, you go through and you see it from 10 years from now, and he's like, I did that. It's an accomplishment. And it's like basically being stoned into the community because you have a footprint here. People know you're here, and that's why we like being here too. Everybody around here has been just super great to us, and I think having a community support you like that's really what makes things flow too.
You've got a lot of support, not only from Martinsville, Henry County, but even from out of state. Tell me about some of the jobs out of state.
We do some basically CBD plants. They're getting to be the new thing now. The CBD oils. We're doing one in Blacksburg. We've done one in Oxford, North Carolina. Some of them over $1 million systems. And we're really excited to be a part of that. It's allowing us to venture out a little bit and hopefully create some more jobs around the area. And that's really what we want to do. I mean, what we're doing is building the stuff here and then taking it there and installing it. A little bit out of town work, but a lot of it's still done here. And that's really where we want to be at, to create more jobs around here and do what we have to do. Yeah. But doing the CBD things like the brew systems, it's really taken off. It's really taking a whole new turn. And we want to be on the forefront of that. We do some Wendy's. We do some of those guys. We do some of that work. We was just down Walkertown this morning fixing a stainless steel, basically where they prepare the food at and stuff. We had to go in there. The inspector didn't like something. We had to go in and weld it up, grind it smooth, look like brand new, and then everybody ends up happy. They get past inspection. We still got a job with them, but everything works out.
So you got some really, really large customers, but then you also have got, local church that has a loose handrail.
Yep.
And you take care of that entire spectrum.
We do, and that's what we like to do, because we like saying, hey man, Lawless has got you. I hated seeing trucks from out of town come in to do local work. And I sit there to myself, and that burns me up. And I want to think, let's keep this at home. There's talent here, there's resource here, and it's always going to be cheaper to get it home than it is out of town. I've never really understood that.
But you have a lot of customers that are large corporations right here in town.
Yep.
And the city, a big supporter of you as well.
They are. They've been great to us too. We have repeat customers. That's the best kind you get, when you get those repeats that keep coming back. Yeah. And ever since we started out 4 years ago doing this full time, it's just gotten to be more plentiful. And it's gotten to be more and more and more. And I got a great group of guys. They're very talented. And I'm looking to expand that someday in the future. We're still perfecting what we have. We're still not there yet. Got bumps in the road. But we've come a long way in the last 4 years. And we want to keep that train moving more or less.
Tell me a little bit about some of the talent that you have here.
Most of my guys that come with me, most of them have been with me since they started. Like, they haven't left and come back. Normally when they get here, they stay. We've had some, as long as you're willing to work and put in the time and learn, then we're able to work with you. And bottom line, that what makes us so unique and so much better is each person has their own niche or their knack. And then also you have the experience with it. My guys, a lot of them I worked with in previous jobs before I come to where I'm at. So I knew they had talent, I knew their ability. And I was like, hey, I want that guy working. My partner's, he's one of the prime examples of that. I mean, me and him's working side by side. I'm making more money, and he's running from one spot to the next. Yeah. I'm like, I want that guy working with me, you know. Yeah. And Jordan, he can build anything he wants to build. He looks at it. That's what he does. He doesn't really do the people side of things. But I do more of the business side. He does more of the, hey, this is what I need, and he can build it. And it makes him ingenious in what he does. Then you got Juan, one of our guys. He's basically been with us for about 3 years now, and he's just multi-talented, and he can do a little bit of everything. Paul's the same way. He's been with me for 4 years now. Gary's been with me for about 3 now. So everybody has a steady chain of our people. We don't have a high turnover rate because we all want to keep a job. We like what we have, and we like coming in and seeing each other. I love seeing my customers. I love seeing the same friendly faces. That way when I eat dinner, I don't want you mad at me. So you know your project's done. I don't want to have to go to the store and be like, I owe him something. We don't like to do it. We like to say, hey, Chris, glad to see you in here. Everybody's happy. You took care of me the other day. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Our experience with, BTW 21, with Livy's Ice Cream Shop, and some of our other local companies that we network with, they always compliment you. Fast, efficient, and affordable.
Yeah.
Would you agree with all of those things?
I would agree with that. Most time, we always try to stay in that because people have hard times and you don't always have the money that you need, but I'll help you out if you're willing to help me out, later on down the road, because everybody hits a bump. Everybody needs something. It's like, hey, man, I really need this. Don't come and do it every time.
Right.
But if you come in and say, hey, man, I am really in a jam. Can you help me out? And if I can, I will. And we'll be able to do it because you need to keep running because I know how it is. Because sometimes I would have paid people more just to get what I wanted done out the door. But then there's other times like, hey, Chris, can you work this in for me?
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more flexible. You know what I mean? And when I tell people, it's like, well, they say, can you do this? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, my commercial clients are here. If you allow me to work this in, I'm glad to do it for you. It might be a day or two, usually something like that. But if you say I need it now, we can do it for you now.
And one of Livy's ice cream shop, one of our special requests was for you to take that 1970 Pepsi cooler and cut it in half. Do you have weird or unique requests like that often? Because that was probably one of the weirdest.
That was definitely one of the weirdest.
Why would anybody want to do something like that?
On a nice cooler.
Right, but we had a good reason.
And and it looks great. When you look at it now front, it really goes together. When you told me to cut it first, I was like, oh, no, Rod, I don't know.
Because that's an antique, man.
Yeah, man. I was saying, like, you really want to do this? And he's like, yeah, it looked great. And I'm like, okay. And it did. It really turned out well. Now it goes with the decor and everything just really is balanced out. But it's like those unique things we like. I mean, I'm sitting there like, I'll try it. Yeah, let's go for it, man. What you got to lose, you know?
And it was more to it than just cut it right down the middle. You had to tweak it a little bit and have to do a little bit of work to it. But you kind of got the gist of it.
Sure. Yeah, and that's what we did. When somebody gives us a starting point like that and you say, hey, Chris, cut the cooler. When a lot of people look at it, they're like, nah, it's not that bad. When you get into it, it's a little bit more involved than what some people think. What I try to tell people is, it's all about what your time's worth at the end of the day. A man uses a shovel every day. He's going to use the shovel faster than you and I even thought about it. So if I was going to dig a hole, I'd go see the man with the shovel that uses it every day. Versus the same way, like me, I weld every time I fabricate. Now if you want something mechanically done on something, we could probably do it, but we're not that great at it. We get by. But when welding and fabricating, I want this built, that's what we do. And it's all about what your time's worth at the end of the day. Could you do it? Sure. But at the same time, is there something else you can do to make more money or make yourself, free yourself up, I guess, and say, hey, Chris, handle this for me. And that's what we do. And I've had people call me and thank me just for doing it. And it's like, it's my job. I mean, I'm not doing nothing special. I'm just doing my job, and that's what we do, and that's what we want to do. And I want my business to thrive. I feel like I'm successful when the day is when I want to retire and quit. Until that day comes, I'm not successful until I want to finally close the door and say, hey, it is what it is. And we haven't gotten to that point yet, nor will we. We're really happy with what we have, and it's just the presence, the air is just so peaceful, and not always. I guess that's not always the right way to say, but it's really a good working environment is the best way to put it. And we all get along. We all want to keep a job, and we all got the bigger picture in mind.
And we all love Martinsville Henry County.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's one of the best places to me. They're trying. You got so many people still pumping, and it's coming back. I mean, and to me, you're not going to get affordable living like you do here. You don't get the community feel like you get in another place. I mean, I can go to somebody and say, hey, man, know that I know you. Sometimes you want to go walk and you don't want to see anybody. But you have those other days where you like the comfort of going in the same place, seeing the same people, and knowing you have a relationship with those people, especially the way the world is now. I'd rather I know who's got my back and who don't. And in a smaller community like this, you got that. In a bigger one, you don't know. You're a feast of family. You don't know where you're going to fall out in between.
All right, you may have told me too much.
People say, well, what do you specialize in? And it's so hard to pinpoint on one thing because we do a variety of things. I got a great team. I've been really blessed with those guys. That's the reason we're growing at the right rate, because we want to make sure we got the right people to handle the work. Right. And now I have the right people. It's going in the right direction. We're looking to keep on increasing, but with the right people when we grow. Henry County's been really good to us. In Martinsville, I mean, we've probably got 90% of our work through local business. So we don't really do a lot of outside work. So it's really grown in the right direction. So to me, the economy is doing better. It's picking things up, and we're hoping to bring some more attention to the community with this. Because really, in theory, this is Virginia's newest love letters.